Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kathleen, and today I'm going to talk about the Kenyan security in relation to the coastal economy. The coastal region of Kenya is largely known as the gateway of Kenya, and this is because the region, and more importantly Mombasa County, hosts the port of Mombasa, which is the major means or the major way through which Kenya imports and exports its goods. However, recently we have had demonstrations and grievances being raised by the people of Mombasa and the people from the coastal part of Kenya concerning the usage and the benefits that they derive from the port of Mombasa. According to them, the coastal people are not receiving the benefits from the port of Mombasa, despite the fact that the port of Mombasa is situated and located in their own soils, in their own land. Led by the Nyali MP, Honorable Mohamed Ali, and the coastalian youth, they decry economic disempowerment of the region, and their demonstrations and grievances comes at a time when the government gives directives that 40% of the containers that land in the port of Mombasa should be transported via the standard railway gauge to the Naivasha inland port. And this implies that the containers that are initially or traditionally have been transported via road are going to reduce. And according to them, they say that implies that 40% of the people who are employed in the trucking industries as drivers, those people employed in the offloading and loading areas of the port of Mombasa, are going to be jobless, and this is going to be a problem in Mombasa. And according to them, then this amounts to economic stagnation of the coastal region. Now, many of us could see this from a political point of view. However, what could be the security implications of the presupposed economic stagnation of the coastal economy? What if truly this directive that 40% of all goods that land in the port of Mombasa are supposed to be transported to the Naivasha inland port via the standard railway gauge, and therefore people are going to be jobless and unemployed? What could be the security implication of having another percentage of youths being added to the already existing unemployed youths in the coastal part of Kenya, for instance? Now, today I speak of the security implications of economic stagnation of the coastal part of Kenya. When we look at the coastal part of Kenya, the region has experienced a high level of radicalization than another region in the country. When you look at the Kenya Human Rights Commission 2016, and when you look at Fatma and Goldsmith 2018, together with Odhiambo and his friends in 2015, all these people are security gurus, and they are people who are very, very concerned about security, not only in the coastal part of Kenya, but largely in the entire country. And according to the studies that they carried out in 2016, 2015, and 2018, they demonstrated that the coastal counties such as Mombasa, Lamu, Kwale, and Tana River are among the hotspots of radicalization in Kenya. Again, you find that the region has experienced or has suffered a lot of terror attacks together with the northern part of Kenya than another region in the country. Now, looking at the reasons as to why the coastal part of Kenya has been a hotspot of radicalization and has suffered a lot of terror attacks in the is because of three major things that have been able to be highlighted, all to be observed, all to be pointed out by failure security experts and researches that have been done in the region. So the three factors or the three drivers to high radicalization in the coastal part of Kenya: number one, it is economic hardship, disempowerment and discrimination, and number two is historical land injustices, and finally it is perceived marginalization of the coastal part of Kenya. So already you look at the coastal part of Kenya, they declare economic disempowerment, they declare historical land injustice, and they declare perceived marginalization. Now, again, getting rid or laying off another percentage of the coastal youth from the port of Mombasa because of transportation of goods via the standard railway gauge and not finding something substantial for them as a new source of income is going to be a problem, and it's going to add to a more economic hardship, add to more unemployment in the coastal region, and definitely this will expose the coastal youth to radicalization. Not forgetting the fact that the region is bordered by Somalia, and they are easily accessed by Al-Shabaab because of their proximity to Somalia. And therefore, if we are going to have so many youths who are unemployed, so many youths who live in an economically stagnated region, it's basically saying that we are exposing the already vulnerable youth to the possibilities of radicalization by Al-Shabaab or another terror group in the region. So why am I saying this? The already vulnerable youth is raising grievances concerning the economic disempowerment of the region by the government policies, and this tells us that the coastal youth no longer trusts the government institutions or the policies that the government puts forward. And this confirms to the UN missing peace study that was done in 2015 that demonstrated that largely the current youth in Africa do not trust government institutions when it comes to policies. So these idle youths feel very vulnerable and they are easy for manipulation. The economic hardships and the oppressions sends them to the internet, where they complain, they be talking bad, they would be raising their issues on the internet. And remember, terrorists are also in the internet. And therefore, the problems and the grievances that are being raised by these youths can be taken advantage of by the terror groups, who can use them to manipulate them and build trust with them, and therefore by the end of the day radicalize them. So the overall result could be, if the economy of the coastal region is stagnated, then the whole country would be in a security crisis. Because if you have youths from maybe from the coastal part of Kenya radicalized, they are not going to attack the coastal part of Kenya alone. Eventually, they will become a nail in the Kenya security sector overall. That yes, they may be from the coastal part of Kenya, they may be from maybe the northern part of Kenya, they may be from another region of Kenya, but by the end of the day, what happens is they are not going to attack in their own region, and they will attack even in Nairobi. So what happens is, in such a state of having youths who feel that they have been oppressed, they have been economically disempowered, and they have been economically deprived by their own government, is the feeling of Witte syndrome. You find that the Witte dichotomy then comes in. It is us against the government, and another person that who comes in and tells us that is with us, and then that is the person we trust. So this tells us one that in as much as yes, the government may have a nice objective or may have a goodwill concerning the usage of the standard railway gauge and the transportation of goods from the port of Mombasa to Naivasha Inland Port. we need to ask ourselves what modalities have been set to incorporate and absorb those people who are going to lose their jobs in the port of Mombasa, in the traffic, in the trucking industries, and in the driving sector. Where are we going to absorb them? Because if we leave them jobless, then we are going to add to another percentage of unemployed people in the country, and that's going to be a crisis. So perhaps a lot has to be done, modalities have to be set, and perhaps these people could be incorporated into the tourism industry. These people could be incorporated, or these people could be given a chance and given resources to improve in their agriculture. And maybe the mining industry in the coastal part of Kenya could be improved. And more importantly, how ready is the government in making business starting and doing in the coastal part of Kenya easy? Because these people are going to lose their jobs, but where are they going to go by the end of the day? Are we going to leave them to be vulnerable and susceptible to radicalization? Already the region is vulnerable. Already the region has suffered Al-Shabaab attacks. Already the region has suffered radicalization. And what are we doing as citizens, and what are we doing as the government to ensure that even when we come up with policies, we do not come with policies that actually puts the already vulnerable citizen or the already vulnerable youth in a state where they are going to miss or to lose trust with the government policies and initiative. So it is a call from me tonight that as we come up with policies, especially policies that are touching on the coastal part of Kenya, keeping in mind that the region has suffered a lot of terror attacks, and more importantly that the region and its counties, especially Tana, Mombasa and Lamu, are some of the areas that have been identified by security gurus as hotspots of radicalization. We need to come up with policies that are not going in any way to stagnate the economy of Mombasa. We need to come up with policies that otherwise should improve the economy of Mombasa and engage the economy of the coastal region and engage the coastal youth fully. Let's make good use of their abilities. Let's make use of their skills, because they have skills, they have abilities. Let's incorporate them into the port of Mombasa. Let's incorporate them to the resources that are within their region, so that by the end of the day they cannot be vulnerable to the already enemy Al-Shabaab. So that is my call tonight, and I feel that stagnating the coastal economy is actually placing the coastal youth on higher all in a state where they can be easily manipulated for radicalization. So let's do everything to ensure that the coastal youth is not placed in a vulnerable situation with regard to radicalization, because a radicalized coastal region is an insecure Kenya. Thank you.